Hi there, welcome back to the archives. So I'm going to do one more. Um, we're going to stay in Egypt. So we did Newt. We're going to get into Isis. Okay? So remember, Isis just came up in Newt's story as the daughter. So Isis is the ancient Egyptian mother and magician. She is seen known as the wisest of women. Okay? So we're getting into Isis. All right. So we have, again, you see the snake also. Oops, sorry. Right, you see the snake there, some flowers. There's another sort of a bird. It doesn't really tell us some of these flowers, but again, you notice some of the themes. There's a lot of flowers that show up, a lot of nature that shows up. The serpent continues to show up. There's another bird here. Let's see what we learn about Isis. And so, a brother's revenge. So, of all of the ancient Egyptian goddesses, Isis is one of the oldest and most well known, right? She's one of the most well known. I don't really know much about her, full disclosure. I don't really know much about the Egyptians in general, other than what I'm learning here. But Isis came from a very powerful family, right? We just talked about her family. Her father was Jeb, who is a god of the earth, and her mother was Nut, who is goddess of the sky. I remember from Newt's story, Jeb and New were actually siblings. They were brother and sister, but somehow they also became husband and wife. Well, I don't know if they got married in the traditional sense, but they sowed seeds together. And so they produce Isis. Isis is their daughter, okay? So Isis comes from the god of the earth and the god of the sky. So she's a combination of both. But Isis was actually really important on her own, okay? Outside of her parents, she's actually important on her own. It says here that um, it describes her love and her revenge for her husband and brother. So again, she followed in her mother's footsteps and also married her or got with her brother Osiris. So it was like a theme at the time where you can get with your brother romantically or whatever it is. So Osiris was her brother technically, but he was also her partner. Um, and so they gave birth to a son, Horus, who is a falcon-headed god of the kings. So that is the falcon we see over there. That's her son. Okay, whole bag of mix up. Whole bag of mix up. Her mom is her aunt technically. Her dad is her uncle technically. Her brother is her what is also her brother? Cousin or I is this a hot it is a hot bag of mix up. Okay, so Osiris and Isis are together. They have Horus. So they had a really special relationship, right? They're siblings, but they're also lovers. As god of life and death, Osiris ruled fairly over Egypt, with Isis as his queen. Okay, he represented control and brought order to the lands, while he had another brother, Set, represented chaos. So Osiris was more of the calm, Set was more of like the chaos. Okay, so Set was jealous of his brother's power, and he decided to trick him. Secretly, he measured Osiris's body and made a beautiful wooden chest to fit him exactly. Then he invited all of the gods to a grand banquet, and he promised that whoever could fit inside the chest could keep it. Mind you, remember the chest is made to fit his brother. So he was like, oh wow, here's a chest. Whoever can fit it, it's yours. Ha ha ha. Knowing that his brother would fit it. And so they all tried, but only Osiris fit perfectly, right? Shocking. And so once Osiris is inside, Set slams the door of the lid, nails it, and leaves Osiris in there for dead. Osiris is now trapped in the coffin that was made perfectly for him that no one else could fit into. Okay? Um, and then he threw him in the Nile River. Terrible. Sibling rivalry. Maybe it is better that they were all getting together romantically, right? Because Set just did his brother dirty, threw his brother literally in the Nile. And so Osiris eventually drowned inside the chest, but that wasn't enough for Set. That wasn't enough that he drowned his brother in a coffin. He then cut Osiris's body into 42 pieces. That's a very specific number. 42 pieces. And he scattered Osiris's body throughout the kingdom of Egypt. Didn't Osiris die twice then? Wasn't he already killed by somebody? So Isis it says she pined. I love that they use that word pined. She pined so deeply for Osiris that she filled the Nile with her tears, flooding its banks. She looked everywhere for his body. She followed a map that was given to her by the god of wisdom. Remember Thoth, the god of wisdom. She finally was able to collect all of Osiris's 42 pieces, and she lovingly put his body back together again. Isis became the first embalmer, and her husband was the first mummy. So it said that Osiris was the first mummy, and Isis was the first embalmer. She put her brother/husband back together again. Okay? But she needed to bring his soul back from the land of the dead. So she sent a message to Nephthys. How do you say this? Nephthys, which is her sister. And the two women went to Osiris's temple. They began to cast some powerful healing spells, and their magic brought Osiris back to life. Okay, so Isis was pregnant immediately with his true heir of the throne, Horus. So that's how they had their kid. So she brought her husband/brother, Osiris, back to life, and Isis had a baby with him named Horus. Meanwhile, remember Set, the vindictive brother who tried to kill his other brother? Well, he still wanted control of Egypt. And so Isis knew he would be in danger to her child. So she ran away to give birth to Horus, and she hid in the papyrus marshes in the Nile. As Horus grew up, Isis had to protect him from his angry uncle, and so she just often disguised herself as a human. That was wild, Aira. She disguised herself as a human. And so basically, it says that she sometimes traveled with guards. In one story, there were 7 terrifying scorpion gods that protected her. So again, we have the scorpion. Well, we haven't seen the scorpion yet, but the scorpions are said to have protected her. And a rich woman, she asked for help from a rich woman once, and the woman said she wouldn't help Isis. The scorpion gods were furious and stung the woman's son. So the irony, she's trying to protect her son from his uncle just because a rich woman wouldn't help her. The scorpions bit this woman's son. And so Isis felt sorry for the little boy. She cured him, and she gained a reputation as a kind, caring goddess who helped humans, because remember, she was disguised in human form. There's another tale of Isis where she tricked Ra, who is the most powerful sun god. She told him his secret name. She created a magical snake out of clay. Again, this idea that things are made out of clay. Remember, we saw that with Mamu. When Mamu was creating life, all of it started from clay, which is not similar from Christianity, where it says, like, from dust you come and from dust you shall return. So this idea that humans and things are made from clay or dust is similar across different traditions. And so basically, she created a magical snake out of clay. She brought it to life, and she ordered it to bite the sun god Ra. The poison almost killed him, and only Isis could provide the cure. She said she would only help Ra if he revealed his true name, because this would give her and Horus an incredible amount of power. And so eventually Ra gave in, and Isis was able to gain the greatest influence among the gods. Again, how a snake could get all the way up to the sun to bite it, I'm not sure how that worked, right? But again, remember, no judgment, because I don't judge biblical stories that I'm like, how did God speak from the sky? If that works, then a scorpion, okay. All right, the snake bit the sun, okay. If you like it, I love it, right? I'm not going to argue with you. Um, Isis is believed to be one of the most powerful magicians ever. Now that she had Ra's secret name, she's a healer of the sick, she's a protector of the poor, she's a guardian of the people, and she's honored far and wide. There are temples that built to honor her in the ancient world. From Britain to the Black Sea. She's really popular because many aspects of ancient Egyptian femininity. She's an ideal mother. She's an ideal queen. She's a confident queen. And she's used her magical healing powers to control the very essence of life and death. So this is a little bit about Isis, okay? She's the mother, she's a magician, she's a queen. She was born from Nut and Jeb. She started pining for her brother Osiris. When Osiris's brother killed him, Isis brought him back to life. They had a son, so on and so forth. Okay? So this is a little bit about Isis. Have you heard of Isis before? There's a coffin, and there's a falcon. So, until next time, in solidarity. I think we're going to stick with ancient Egypt for now. We're going to get the Egyptians out of the way, and then we'll continue to move maybe into some of the Native Americans here. Well, not, we may do like, we'll see, but more to come from Goddess. Okay, this is from Goddess. 50 goddesses, spirits, and saints, and other female figures who have shaped belief. It's written by Dr. Janina Ramirez, and the illustrations are by Sarah Walsh. Okay, it's in collaboration with the British Museum. So until next time, in solidarity.